friends, I'm Kim with Cosmic Studios. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. Today I've decided that I want to make another purse charm. I had one before that had one of these really pretty faceted hearts, and I lost it somewhere along the way. So today I'm going to try really hard to do something to keep this in place forever. Right? Nothing's forever. Okay. Anyway, so I got up this morning and decided that's what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, why not film it? So I have all of these tools here. This is a really, really strong chain cutter. This is a really strong chain. This is by Bead Landing. It's 6 millimeter, and it works really well for the type of charm that I'm going to be doing today. I have got my round nose pliers, my flush cutters. They call them flush cutters because if you notice this back part here is flush. This is more of a beveled side. So when you're cutting, I think what you want to do is you want to cut with the roll this way and the beveled edge going that way, I think. I could be wrong. I've been wrong a lot. These here are my needle nose pliers. I have flat nose pliers, and these don't have any grips right here. These are kind of great. And I also have, I don't even know, I saw these in Home Depot, and they're very pinchy, very stabby, and they work really well for getting into tiny areas. I am also going to be using some aluminum wire today to make some findings for these little guys. And I have a ton of O-rings. And because I want to be super safe today, I will be doubling up O-rings on all of my charms. And I realize that, let me move some of my tools out of the way here. I realize that these two charms are very similar, so I'm going to be careful not to put them right next to each other. I have the California Bear. I have this pretty crystal here. I may not end up using it. And I have this really cool, I don't know, I don't want to say what it reminds me of, because somebody's probably going to call me out and go, that's not what that is. But that's okay. It just reminds me of like a really cool boho style. It reminds me a little bit of the evil eye. And when I look at stuff like this, it's beautiful to me. It's beautiful to me, and I think Moroccan style. Could be wrong on that. I'm okay with being wrong. And then I went to a place here called Beads yesterday, and I found this cool little thing. So this is what I'm going to hook everything to. Again, I'm going to be doubling up O-rings on everything. So to get started, I need to find the end of this chain here. Smartly, I taped it up with some painter's tape. And I think I want about a 6-inch length. That sounds pretty long to me. And actually, now that I'm looking at it on paper, it is pretty long. So maybe we'll go with 4 inches instead. So since I want 4 inches, I'm going to go 5.5 or 4.5 rather. And I just literally want to, should have opened these first. Literally want to give myself a little bit of extra room. I can always trim off the extra at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out 4.5. Cut right here on this little chain right here. There we go. And now we've got our length. Wrap this up nice and tidy. You don't want to be that person. I'm only saying that because if you are that person, you're going to lose your stuff like I used to, and now I try to be very mindful of where I put things. My ex-husband used to say, you're either a leaver or a putter. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sure it means something. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to put an O-ring on one end here so that I can attach it here. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a couple of this size right here. And to do an O-ring, or jump ring, I should say, sorry. To do a jump ring, you want to make sure, what I first do is I grab and I just kind of go around. It's a little hard for me to see, even with glasses on. These things are so fine, but I did find the little separation right there. So I'm going to hold the separation, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them and I'm going to twist them lightly away from each other. Might as well do that on both since we're going to be setting both in motion. But that's how I do it, on or twist around the ring until I feel what I need to feel there. Split in the ring. There we go. Now we will set this, and whoops. Well, we can go ahead and do this, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and twist these back in place. My hope is that if one comes out of place, the other won't. That said, I feel like I need to learn how to solder and get a little soldering iron. I have had this bracelet on. There's the connector right there, this little tiny, tiny circle connecting all of the hearts. I've had it for over a year now, and it has not failed me once. So anyway, I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to find the end of this here. There we go. Double O-ring, double jump ring. Okay, we're going to just put these back together. Actually, they went back together pretty easily. And if I did it right, and I hope I did, there are two O-rings on there. They're just not, I don't know, I had visions of them being side by side. What did I do? I feel like one of them is full of trickery and the other one is doing what I want it to do. But I think it's because I had to bring it around. Anyway, we're going to let that settle. I might fix it later, might not. My next thing on my list here is I'm going to be using this 20 gauge enthusiast jewelry wire. It says it's ideal for jewelry making, so let's see. Anyway, what I want to do, kind of straighten it out a little bit, and I don't need a long length, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a finding for this here, and I think I'm going to put this on the end because I think that would be really cute. So I always clip more than I need. I know, probably kind of a waste, but that's probably too much. That might be too much too. And then what I want to do is I want to make this into its own little end here. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to give it a couple of wraps until it comes back around to right about there. You see that? We've got two there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here. I'm going to hold this. And I'm going to just bend this straight up like that. And I'm going to take one end. I'm going to push it through here. I'm going to just pull this with these. Give it a nice tug pull. And what that did is it made a nice little seat for the star. Because I'm going to put the star underneath the heart. Should I do it that way? I do want the heart going up. So I might not like it. I might just not like it. So anyway, there's what that's going to end up looking like. And then I need to give this some sort of a bail. So I'm hoping that I do have enough. You know what? If I don't, here's my thing. I'm a little concerned I'm not going to have enough space at the top to make the bail. I either cut off way too much or just under what I need. So I'm going to instead use this as the bottom piece. Take this and I'm going to wrap it. And I'm hoping I can get it around here at least twice. And I'm just going to resettle this, take it up and around. And around. And I have just the tiniest little tail left here. I think what I'm going to do is find that little tail. Yeah, I should have started a little bit lower there. It's okay. I'm going to take this little tail and I'm going to try to tuck it around. It's not going to tuck. There's just no way. There's no room. There's no space. But you know what you can do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not thrilled with this because I really do want to make sure that this is going to last this time. I was pretty upset when I lost the last one. So I'm going to pull off way more than I need. Again, hopefully this is way more than I need. That's way more than I need. Do we agree? We agree. Okay, again, but you get to see this tutorial again right here. We're going to take this, and we're going to wrap it. And anytime you get here, you just resituate your pliers. Took me forever to learn that trick. I don't know why. I guess I'm a little slow. Okay, go like that. Pinch. Bend that straight up like that. We have something that looks like this. I'm not thrilled that this piece is sticking out so far right here, so I'm just going to go in and I'm going to cut it, cover it so it doesn't pop up into my eyeball. And then I will take this piece here again and we're going to run it through, and I want to get these here, pull it until it is all the way through there. There we go. Looks pretty good. This wire straightens out pretty nicely. So now I think I actually do have room to put this star on the bottom. I don't know why I'm so bent on wanting the star in there. That little tiny bend at the top is literally what's making that star not go on there. Did you see how I did that? So when you're going to cut, you want to put your fingers on the end of the piece that you're cutting so that you can feel it in your fingers and it's not popping and flying everywhere. The last thing you want to do is have it pop up into your eye, or worse, later you find it with your foot. Okay. I think this is just not going to work for this. This charm is not meant to go on with this heart. I think we can all agree on that now, right? Okay, there we go. We'll find the drill out there. And now I've got plenty of room. I could even, if I wanted to, top it with this charm here. That's kind of pretty. I actually love that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about here. I'm going to go about here. That's way too long up there. Way too long. Trying to figure out how I can do this. Well, okay, let's just try it. Okay, I'm going to bring this up, resituate the pliers, wrap it. Again, resituate the pliers, but bring it around on that side. Don't worry so much about what's going on the pliers for now. We have 2 rings now. And what I'm going to do is just give this a nice little, straighten that up a little bit. What you could do is actually give it a nice little pinch right there on the ring, and there you go. And now I have got plenty of room to wrap this around the bail, but it's also a little too much. So I'm thinking we will, and again, here's the trick. You with your fingers, and now that's safely there. I'm not going to step on it later. And now what you can do is, well, actually I want to keep the shape here. I'm going to keep the form, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to start wrapping around the bail. And this stuff here wraps so nicely. Honestly, it's just really nice material to work with. That said, it's also a little loosey-goosey here too. So anyway, I'm going to just keep wrapping this around, using these now to kind of get it to do what I want. And now I'm going to pinch right there, and you have a nice little wrapped bail, and I think that looks great. On to the next, on to the next. Okay, so what I'm going to do is count out, and I know that I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 12 O-rings, 12 jump rings. I keep calling them O-rings. Why? Why do I do that? And I just accidentally pulled a bunch out that I didn't want out. That's okay. Okay, so we're going to just take out, let's see, there's 6. Bet I couldn't do that twice. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to do this part off camera because you don't need to see me bending those into shape a whole bunch. So I will be right back. Okay, we are back. And at this time, I have all of my jump rings ready to go. I completed a little ring for this. I put these two together. I have this really cool tool over here, and if you want a tutorial on how to use it, it gives you this perfect little, in fact, here, let's do a quick tutorial. Let's say that I want to put a ring on the end of this. You take this, and there's a little tiny hole. And actually, you don't even have to get it in that little tiny hole, but it is in that hole. And then when you squeeze this, it brings that wire over and around. It didn't do a perfect job on that one. Normally it does a really good job, but it was a little bit wonky in here, I think. I'll use these to pull that out. And it did sort of do its job, but not quite. We want to show you a good one. So let's do that again. So I'm going to take this piece right here, stick it all the way until it comes out that hole, and then we're going to just take this around like that, and it gives a perfect, sometimes I have to pull this off of here. It gives you a nice little round O-ring, and you can actually take it and bend it back if you need to a little bit to give you a straighter, like that. Okay, I had to stop for a minute because the dog is actively freaking out. Somebody dared to walk by with a dog. All right, so what I like to do is I like to kind of figure out where I want things, and I think it's just better to have the longer stuff sort of at the bottom here. And I think it's going to look something like that. So let's get started. How about if we just grab it with our left hand? You know what I've noticed, and this is going to sound really kind of crazy. I have like this weird analytical brain where I think in like my mind, incredibly talented are left-handed, and I not that that's weird to me at all, but I've just noticed that a lot of people that I personally watch on YouTube and stuff, I think that they are so crazy talented. Like I'll be watching their channel and it's not that I go, "Oh, this is a left-handed person. I want to watch their channel." That's not how that works at all. What happens is I'm watching it and I'm noticing that they are using their left hand dominantly, and I'm like, "Wow, that's so cool." It might be a little long. Yeah, I might end up changing this and shortening it, but I am not mad at this. I am pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it's really pretty, and I'm probably going to spend the next 20 minutes off camera, we'll say fixing it, making it a little bit shorter, and I will probably actually count chain links between each one and make it a little more perfect. After a lot of adjusting, I decided that my first go round was a little too plain, so I added many things to this. Actually, that's not part of it. Let's get that out of there. I added many charms to this to give it a fuller look, and I think the result is very nice. So anyway, I hope you had fun with me today. I hope you took something away from it. If not, the learning of how to use a useful tool or how to wrap a bale or chain cutters or whatever. I hope that you did learn something here today. I hope you don't feel like your time was wasted. I would appreciate it if you would like my content and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And I hope that you will consider some kind of crafty thing. I hope you will release your inner artisan. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next video.